Welcome to another wonderful wintry week of English 10 year long. We are creeping closer and closer to the OGT. The countdown is on, and we want to do everything we can to help you feel confident, comfortable, and most of all, competent with the course material. Okay, so this everything we're doing right now is all about the OGT, and it's gonna work. We're gonna work some magic here with your effort in order to get you just completely confident with what's going to be coming at you on the reading and the writing OGT. So Mrs. Felty, Mrs. Miranda, and myself, Mrs. Strock, are all here for you for personal questions. We also have live sessions every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. We cover emphasis on reading on Monday, writing on Tuesday, and then just general OGT practice and refining and helps on Thursday. So all really good sessions. If you can't be there at 11, check out the recordings. They're really worthwhile. All right, all of that to say, let's jump in. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is week 3, but we're actually in week 4. But since I'm recording this at the end of week 3, you'll see the week 3 announcement. But I want to show you a few things on this announcement that are really important. Hashtag rock the OGT. That's a Mrs. Miranda. She's funny with her hashtags. Okay, so we're going to have a tip here, something to look at, something to think about for the OGT. We're going to have another new tip down here, and we're going to ask that you check out the OGT Bootcamp folder in week 4, and we're going to give you some practices there. It's usually sort of a video interactive thing. It's fun. It's not attached to assignment in the class, but don't just breeze by it because it's not attached. We need to know from you, we need you to kind of step it up a little and do those activities for extra practices. Then we have over here the announcement that you just are listening to of me, and like I said, the live session link for Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. There's content in the reading and writing workshops. We're going to talk about those in a second. And we also have some extra OGT flashcards. Can you tell we're like really trying to ramp up the OGT stuff? Okay, so I'm going to go in and give you a sneak preview of quarter 4. We don't have it quite how we want it yet, but this gives you a general idea, and the assignments will end up being the same. Oh, not quarter 4. Jeez, Mrs. Strock, what is she thinking? Week 4. Get my 4s mixed up. All right. In reading workshop this week, it'll look a little different to you if you're opening this in week 4, but the pages will be pretty much the same. Kind of a cheesy Smurf thing, but do you remember these when you were little? These, show the differences and what things are different. You would maybe circle them or whatever. Remember those little fun worksheets? Remember when school was all fun and games? Okay, it still is, right? If we scroll down here, what we're really doing, the reason those little games were in children's worksheets was because people knew even back when you were little that it's important to recognize or have an understanding of how things are similar and different. I always think of the old Sesame Street song, "One of these things is not like the other," and they would have like 3 red crayons and 1 green crayon or something. Okay, and it was silly and it made you giggle because they did it with like Cookie Monster or whatever. Even like Blue's Clues and some of those shows use comparison and contrast, alike and different. Why? Because guess what? The way our brains are wired, if we look for similarities and differences, we remember things more about what we're reading. So if as you're reading, you're comparing what you're reading to something else you know about the topic or to something that's written in a similar way, you are going to actually help your comprehension. The other thing is we're putting this in the reading folder, but as a writing strategy, comparison contrast is important because it allows you to make a point by showing similarities and differences. You could even use it as a persuasive approach or as an explanation of something. This is like this, but it's different than this type approach. Okay, so this is a Venn diagram. This is probably our most common type of way to organize comparison and contrast ideas. There's a video here that we want you to watch. Some of you are learning the importance of our little videos built in. And then we have these little pages, and whenever they say curium at the top, they probably have a little extra reading, and they'll have an assignment at the bottom that is not related to us, okay? So don't worry about that. But we want to give you a little chance to learn about the author. It puts the poems in perspective. Then we're going to read 2 poems by the same author that have very different tones to them. The Lamb, and you can predict what that's going to be about. Look at it, it's even from Songs of Innocence. And the Tiger. And look at this. This is from Songs of Experience. How is innocence different from experience? Think about that for a second before you read this. And of course, if you don't feel like reading, you can always listen to the poem. Isn't that cool? I love little features like that. Okay, the next page will have another PowerPoint for you to consider. And we do want you to click on that PowerPoint as a teaching tool. And then there will be a comparison contrast activity with a Venn diagram. I'm not going to open that activity for you right now, but just know that it's there. So at the end of this the thing you're working up to, in fact, you might want to open the activity at the beginning of the work so that you kind of know what you're aiming for as you do the work. Sometimes that works well for me. I just had my son we had blizzard bags last night at our house or yesterday at our house because we had missed our 11th day of school. And my one son had to do a quiz. I said, before we read this passage, I want you to read all the questions. And you know what? He got those questions, boom, 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 because he had the worksheet out before he actually had the reading out. So that's something you can try too. Okay, in writing workshop this week, we're continuing on with our SWOT, spontaneous writing and thinking. What are you going to do? You're going to think about a time this time that you were late for something. In a story, describe the situation that made you late, how you handled the situation, and the consequences of being late. Okay, so this time you're going to write us a little story. So it's going to be narrative, right? You're going to describe the situation, because we do use description in stories, how you handled it, and the consequences of it. I don't handle being late very well, but I'm late a lot, so you can imagine. Okay, this is the why we're doing this. Remember, writing is one of those mental and physical activities that requires us to do something consistently and constantly. If we're constantly writing, we're going to get consistently better at it. Also, something to consider, you don't have to do this, but if you wish, you can practice handwriting. I know sometimes, not your handwriting skills, but you can practice putting your writing pencil to paper, because I know some students say that it's really a change for them to have to go from everything we do on the computer to taking the OGT where it's all pencil and paper and you're not used to writing that much. So feel free to use your SWOTs, pencil to paper, and then scan your responses back to us. Okay? Just a thought. We do have an inspiration video again this week, and I'm excited about this one. It's about an interview with Stephen King, the thriller author. He also has done a lot of screenplays and such, so he is a story writer, a sensational story writer. And in our little light bulbs, we have a cube creator, and this is a really fun interactive tool. We would suggest that you choose the story cube because it fits best with the prompt, and this could be a way to kind of think through some ideas. And I know some of you are writers in general. This could be a tool you could use for your personal writing as well if you like to write stories. So if you want to organize your SWOT before you submit it, that would be a way to do it. Okay, and then you just turn it in the Dropbox, which is going to be a worksheet on the next page, and then you simply transfer it over to our discussion board. And let me show you what's going on in discussion board. This is exciting stuff. I mean, look at all this stuff. It's under prepare to share, and looks like I've gotten another one in since I last checked it. Okay, and it'll be right under this SWOT right here. Okay, you click on it, I go in, here's what it looks like from my end. It'll say if it needs to be approved. These are all the different responses I've already approved. And then if I look on the next page, there's probably going to be one that says, has an approve button. You don't get to approve them, only me, sorry. Oh, I didn't see it. Maybe you guys saw it. Let me try it one more time here on the next page, or first page. Show me, where is it? Oh, right here. It's Hannah Board had one. Okay. She had a really funny post. You'll have to go look at it. And she was responding to somebody else. Which reminds me, don't just post your own. Go in and replies. See, look at how Caitlin and Serena and Hannah have replied to other people. It's so fun to read what other people say about your writing. That's what makes writing really real. Okay, so that's all we have for you this week. Pretty simple week, really just 2 basic assignments. Oh, one thing I really forgot that's important. It's not in here yet, but you had it this week in week 3. It's that OGT boot camp, and this week it was the tip of the week, and it gave you a video to watch and so forth. It's going to be similar this week. Again, not a turn-in assignment, but something just to make you feel more confident for the OGT, and we're going to make it fun with some music and so forth. Look at that. Isn't he cute and ugly all at the same time? Just like my kids. No, I'm just kidding. I have a son in the other room right now, so I had to tease him. Okay, well, hey, you guys have a great week, and I hope if you have any questions, you feel totally comfortable calling us, because we're here for you. Mrs. Felty is 3432. I'm 3448. Mrs. Miranda's 3468. And we can all answer your questions at any time that you need us, unless we're sleeping, of course, which would be probably when most of you do your work. Just kidding. Okay, hey, have a great week. Take care now.